All right, here we are again. Saturday night, got some more painting. Gonna do a little bit of a paint session here, working on my Irish. So hopefully you guys maybe watch this at a later opportunity. But where we left off this morning is we woke up and we went ahead and did the shield patterns of the Irish Kerns javelin men that we had finished up last night. Get this a little closer here. And that is what we were working on. So these were hand-painted shield patterns that I did based on some of the Little Big Man Studios decals that I saw in 28 millimeter scale. So painted those up. Now these shields are actually completely flat, so they're devoid of even having a boss on them. So they definitely needed something to be done to them. So at least these two that are in the front here. Okay, so we're going to, we did start already working on the other guy earlier today. That's who we're going to be focusing on. Let's put these figures back and show you the guy we've been working on. This figure right here, we haven't done his shield yet. And yeah, we got like hair to paint on him. We've got to finish up his javelin. And yeah, we'll probably do the shield again in the morning. I don't want to do the shield live because I've got all the pictures on my phone and I'm filming with my phone. So I really can't do both of those things. So anyhow, we'll probably do his. We've got two more javelin guys to do after that. So let's go ahead and get started where we left off. Zoom out a little bit and see if we can get this over here. All right. Let's see what we got here. We probably have a mess of paint here. This is all our Irish shades here. Yeah, so we still got our golden yellow that we're using as core color for all that stuff. So we got some writing down here. We'll move that out of field of view because it's kind of distracting. All right. Of course, I had to clean my paint area after what I was working on last night here. We picked up my room quite a bit, so maybe we can do a video, but just a little short thing here. Show you a little bit setup that I have here. It's in cubbies here behind me. And yeah, this here. And of course, our trusty iced coffee. Can't get anything done with that. All right. And yeah, maybe we'll do a short video tomorrow of just kind of a walk around my paint room. So it's nothing elaborate, but it works for me, and I'm happy with it. So I actually watched a couple of people have their paint areas that they have in their own home, and some of the areas are huge. I mean, I've got my own room basically for this, but it's there's some folks out there with a lot of space. So I don't really need any more since I'm a terrible multitasker. So I'm just perfectly fine just having this one space, just doing what I'm doing right now. So let's turn this over to the focus on the work area here. And okay. All right, so what do we got left to do with this guy? And this guy's got a really funky face. Can't really see it in pictures, but the poor guy, the guy that sculpted him, it looks like he has a face that looks like a cross between Bob Denver and Marilyn Manson. So that's not a good thing. He's a dopey looking dude. So we'll see. He's just one guy in the whole army. The poor guy looks like that. But all right, so let's go ahead and finish up his javelin, and we were using this color here. And we're we're just going to highlight the javelin a little bit more. Now this is the first one I've painted so far that has a cloak, and the cloak is in non-yellow color. It's just, I believe I used olive drab. It's called olive drab, but it's almost, it's very brown. So we decided to do that for a cloak. And I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And then what we're going to do is when we're done with all these guys, um, we're going to varnish them so that because I'm really dying to work on the stands and seeing what they look like. So um, it'd be nice to have them all done by this weekend, but I'm not sure guy, which there's nothing to it. And but then I've got to go and paint and then wait to varnish. I mean, it's possible. It's possible I'll get to base them. I don't know about getting them completely done, but we'll get there. It'll be close. Yeah, this is fourth day in a row I think I've painted, so this has been very productive for me. I don't remember when I've gotten any more painted in a single week than in the last 4 days, so that's uh, that's really handy on my end. Okay, so we're about done with this javelin. Not much to it, just a tiny little bit of light there. We're going to go ahead and get the metal, do the head of the javelin, and then we can move on to his hair. All right, so let's and I started kind of late. Well, it's just after 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, so not too late, but I think yesterday I even started as late as like 10:30 almost, so yeah, that's pretty good. Definitely being more productive in the nighttime hours than normal. Okay, so all we're going to do is just add a little bit of metallic there, metallic color, and uh, and the javelin. That's it. That's literally all I'm gonna do on that. All right, let's paint his hair. So what color should we make this guy's hair? Let's see what we got already going on with these other figures. We got two strawberry blondes, a blonde, a brown hair, and a black. Let's do this guy some red haired dude. Let's make this some red haired guy. All right, so what we're going to use as a base is color they call them light brown, although to call this light brown is kind of ridiculous. It's kind of a orange color, but the name of the color only means so much. And let's go ahead and grab some black here. And this is going to make like a, oh, the frogs are happy. The tree frogs are happy. You guys hear that chirping frog, that chirping sound? That's what it is. A happy little tree frog outside. They're only about this big. They're adorable, but they're noisy. They eat bugs. Unfortunately, there's not more of them. We have plenty of bugs here in Florida. But if you hear any chirping like that, that's what that is. Every single day, I think now for like probably 2 weeks at least. So I'm gonna have to go outside early and do some yard trimming because the grass is just getting too high. I was trying to wait for a dry day, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Totally covered in the base color. All right, so you guys already know, and then go up with some highlights. So it's kind of standard operating procedure for what I'm doing here. So that's done here. I'm going to do it again. Add a little bit more of this color. And lighten that up. This common theme of all these skirmishers are going to be is this gold brown color as the base in their long shirt that they're all wearing. So the other two figures, they're definitely I'm going to have a color that I'm going to paint them that's going to be mixed in with that. So it'll be, yeah, little frog's got something to say. Okay. And that's, of course, a tree frog that's outside the home. I don't have any pets, so. All right, same thing. We're going to add a little bit more of this. All right. Can't really tell until you put them like this. Hey Kevin, how you doing? Hopefully you're feeling better. Out in Arizona. It's 6:15 out there. Forget if you guys are one or two. Well, you guys are two over. But the question is, I think you guys don't do daylight savings time. So, like savings time. I wish we would just pick one and just stay with it. I don't even care which one. Yep, going home Monday. So you, I guess you're laid up in the hospital. I hope you're doing all right. And make your time go by quicker. Sky up, but we're going to use this golden yellow, which is almost should be called light yellow, but it's a pastel type color. Keeps me from pulling out the white, making them look all grayish. So, hey, Big Al, how are you doing? At this rate, I'll have this army painted in a week. I hope so. I'm really excited. I'm ready to. I'm working on my Irish insults, so I can insult Mitch when these guys hit the field. Definitely looking forward to doing that and playing some Wimp War type games with these guys for sure. It's going to be a hoot. So these guys are not really a week because there's like I think I did the count last night. There's like going to be like 52 figures to paint. So I've painted 5. So maybe 10% of the way there. There's so many figures because the core army doesn't have that many, but it has several options. And I'm going to be building all the several options because you can have the standard medieval Irish, or you can have some Scottish troops in there for Edward the Bruce's invasion of Ireland in the early 1300s. It's the Robert the Bruce's brother. Didn't go so well for him, but he did build those options, and we're going to build some troops for an ally as well, so that we can use this army in more when they've got to face opponents that are a little bit tougher. We will be able to use this army with the Scots Isles and Highlanders units. So we got to build 3 stands of those guys as well. So. Yeah, so today, as a matter of fact, I just emailed earlier today. I'd ordered on Monday that can have the cavalry, meaning the light horse. I don't have any Irish light horse. And I found the figures I wanted to use, and they're from a company I've never ordered from before. They've been in business a long time, and I just noticed that I'd never gotten a confirmation that they had received my order, which I don't know is standard practice, but it is for me. I usually, hey, just let me know you're working on my order, and so I don't have to worry about it. I'm not really in a hurry for them. I could probably get them in 3 or 4 weeks from now and probably be fine. But I just want to know you guys are working on it or whatever. So it is a manufacturer. It's out in the UK. I'm going to do an unboxing on those troops. There's a manufacturer that probably does not get a lot of attention. And I'm not going to tell you who that is. I'm just not going to when they get here. So I do like doing those. And I like doing them live, so I don't know what's in there either. It could be like, no, they sent me the wrong figures. Damn it! You guys can suffer right along with me. Well, it won't be a live video. It'll still be a video to where it starts. I don't mind prettying up some of those videos as long as they're short, and they tend to be under 20 minutes for sure. This one in particular, because it's not that many troops. I think it's only like 6 packs of troops that I ordered. But yeah, we'll have those. We'll have that presentation hopefully in about a week. Normally shipping from the UK takes about the same as the US, a week. I just added another half week for figuring for all the COVID nonsense and slowdown and inconvenience that it's causing everybody. But it may end up being 2-3 weeks. No big deal. They'll get here in plenty of time before we absolutely have to have them. So, yeah, so that's coming up. But I emailed them today saying, hey, just want to make sure you guys got my order because, normally I get an email from somebody saying, hey, thanks for your order. We'll let you know when it's shipped. Just something simple like that, And I've heard nothing from them. I sent them payment through PayPal, got the receipt from that, and haven't heard anything from them. A little unusual, not anything to be worried about. As a matter of fact, what was it? I ordered some sunglasses recently. I decided to get some another pair of sunglasses that I was out, and I'm not an expensive sunglass ordering person because I don't want to fret. So as long as they're polarized, I'm pretty happy. So I ended up making an order from a sunglass company. I had some deals going on, like was it buy one get one? I don't know. It was really cheap. It was a pair of sunglasses, 2 pairs for like $38. and it ended up being fine. But I never got a notification that they even shipped. They just poof appeared like in 4 days before I had a chance to. So, hey, that works. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna go with this guy. Lighten up his face a little bit more, since this guy's a pale looking dude, or he's gonna be. And yeah, let's do that. So we've got this tiny little legs of this paint palette are catching on the edge of this cardboard and hanging. Let's grab some more red leather. All my paints are put away because I couldn't work with everything I had. They were encroaching on me. That's what happens after I paint a couple of figures. They end up taking over the whole my whole table, and it's distracting. I distract easy, so I don't want anything that's going to pull me off task. Okay, so let's go back to this guy's face. Now we painted this guy this morning or early afternoon, so I don't think any of these colors are still left in the mixing stage up here. So we're going to just create a different shade here of about where we left off with him, and then we're going to lighten it up a little bit. All right. Like I said, this is a pretty weird looking dude. I think I described him as a cross between Bob Denver and Marilyn Manson. So that's not very endearing. That's not a good thing. Dopey looking weird dude in a red haired mullet. Okay, maybe one tiny little bit more, a little bit more white to it. Hit some highlights on his face. His face was looking kind of flat. There's another guy, one of these guys that ended up having pouty lips. So unfortunately, we got to paint him if they're going to give him pouty lips. It's hard to see at this kind of resolution, but anyhow, we'll have pictures of him later when he's finished. And then we're going to do the same thing we did yesterday, which is we're going to give the shield a base color, just a base brown that we're going to build up in the morning to do the shield patterns. So I don't want to do those tonight because I've got some pictures that I've collected from the internet, but it's on my phone, and since I'm filming with a phone, I kind of can't do that right now. So we'll leave that for in the morning. So I haven't even decided what I was going to do yet. I know that I've been trying to keep them kind of simple designs, using the background color of all of them in black, not black, in brown. These aren't guys that have luxury items. These are commoners that just got raised kind of at the last minute to go fight. So that's at least the backstory I'm using for these guys. So we're not going to be doing really fancy shields that have multiple colors or heraldry or anything like that. So If you guys watch any of our games that we do, we word on the street is we're going to be filming another set of games on Monday. So if you guys get a chance to check those out, it won't be live. It'll be live. I'm limited to 720p, and you guys need better than that to see all the details and stuff. So we're going to be doing some DBA battles there on Monday evening. And what normally happens is as soon as I get a chance to, I upload the videos. But what ends up happening is I get home about close to about 10 o'clock at night, do some minor editing, start doing the exporting, and it's pretty quick. But then what happens is after it's been exported, I got to send it out to YouTube. That isn't much of an issue. But when it gets to YouTube, there's anywhere between an hour to 2 hours where it's being formatted, and you guys do that. So what I've been doing is I do everything up to the point where I let it upload to YouTube. Okay, and then the processing, which could take a couple hours for like a 2-hour video, I just kind of let that happen while I'm getting some shut eye. So that's what I've been doing in the last couple of videos that I've done, is kind of how the pattern is. I'd like to get it out the same day, but it just isn't going to happen. There's just too much idle time that YouTube needs to process it. And I really don't want to upload and promote the video until it's gotten to high definition in 1080. So I don't want to say, hey, it's 1 o'clock in the morning and the video's available, you guys can watch it, but the resolution's kind of subpar. So I've been waiting to promote it and put it out there until YouTube has been doing their part of processing it. So it's a little, if you guys haven't put out videos before, it's a little bit more complicated than you may think. But it's sometimes wonder why some steps take so long. But that's just one of those things. That's the price we got to pay to have a place to put the videos for free and host them for free anyways. So, okay, so this is where we're going to leave this shield out, and we're going to put this guy in a little pet view of what this guy really looks like. And it would be nice if the camera was on him. Thank you. Okay. And let's get some light on him. There we go. There we go. Okay, so this is still, the resolution isn't great because it's probably, you guys are probably seeing it at 720, even though I'm filming it at a much higher one. But there's the figure. Okay, this is the 6th Kern. So we're going to set him off to the side and start working on the next one. Okay, I'll wake up in the morning, look at some shield powders, and decide to do that. So let's zoom back out and let's see what we got. Kevin says, you helped time go by. Thanks. I wasn't feeling good for one day, last Monday. And of course, I went to work and everything else, but I wasn't feeling good. So I think Sunday I spent a bit of time in bed just trying to get rid of it gave me a throbbing headache. And yeah, when you're laid up in a bed for a long time, you're just bored to tears and you're tired of going to sleep. Yeah, you definitely need to we just fast forward and to the point where I get better. Like, let me just go to sleep and wake up when I'm better, So no problem. I'm glad this is making time go by. You guys are helping me by just putting up with my ramble and allowing me to continue staying on track, getting some painting done. So, okay, so these are the two guys we have left. And, and by the way, if you guys didn't watch the painting thing the other night, I've been complaining about one of the poses I really didn't like on these javelin guys. At all. I didn't like the casting of it. Now, keep in mind, when I say that, these sculptors are still doing a hell of a lot better job than I would. Okay, so I have no sculpting experience, but I do know what I like, and it's this particular figure here. And I think he turned out just fine. It was just the way that the posing he was done. There was nothing particularly wrong with him as far as details or anything like that. It was just he was just kind of an awkward pose, and he turned out just fine. So if I see one of these guys that looks kind of funky, I'm gonna move forward with him. So. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this guy for last. Okay, this is a guy. It looks like he's got a mustache and a mullet. I got a friend of mine who has been sporting a mustache forever, regardless of what the common trend is, and, and he's wanted me to paint one of his Irish guys in yellow and green for his favorite soccer team. So we're gonna do that with this guy, and I'm going to tell him it's one of his ancestors anyway, so I like to do that. So we're going to leave this guy for last. Although I think I think Rick's ancestry is actually Welsh, not Irish, but oh well, he can have an ancestor in every one of my armies for all I care. So we're going to do I think we're going to do a cloak on this guy that is striped. Okay, we're gonna have some horizontal stripes on that. So that's at least my plan on doing that. So this guy here is another one of these barefoot types, and he also has a mustache. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with doing his tunic as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring the colors back. Where'd they go? Where'd I put them? Ah, right here. I don't have my glasses in right now. I'm very nearsighted, so sometimes if something's not right in front of me, I can't find it. But it does allow me to paint and see these just with my contacts in the 20/20 vision. But about 4 years ago, I stopped being able to do that due to, turning 45. So, but still, I think this is very easy on the eyes as far as it's not very taxing, but still it just gets to the point where I wasn't able to focus on something at the normal distance. So we decided to put some of this brown here a little earlier, so let's go ahead and put it to good use. I'm going to mix up our yellow batch here and use this as the base color here for this for the tunic that's this guy is using. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint all his tunic that's showing there. And some tunic here. We actually need to go a little bit darker than that. Yeah, hopefully this is helping you guys time go by. I have listened to many people paint, ramble on, and something like that. I usually put it in the background while I'm doing some painting and just kind of just something to listen to so I'm not bored while I'm painting, because honestly a lot of this it's pretty boring to paint this without having any kind of interaction. I do listen to books on tape and stuff like that, and other YouTube channels as well. The problem that happens is that when you have something that has a picture, I distract very on and I'm not looking at it because I distract easy, and the next thing you know I'm like, well, what's that, huh? And I'm not getting any painting done. So yeah, listening to stuff comes in handy for me as well. So maybe you guys are doing some of that with my long rants. You guys can look from time to time what's going on. So ramble, sorry, not rants. I don't get anything doing this. This is all good. I don't like getting angry unless I'm getting paid, if you know what I'm saying. So, yeah, but this wet palette allows me to just dump some paint on here. This gold brown, I think, was put on last Monday. So it's been Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 6 days, and it's still workable. So that's, instead of you have to start every single paint session with putting some color down on what you're using, and it ends up drying and you have to refresh at certain times. The drama of having to go back, stop what you're doing, and do that. So um, and as you can see, I'm painting these by each. That's my preferred method to doing it. It works for me. I know some people probably think it's crazy, but I know how I am, and I know that after couple hours, 3, 4 hours, I've got something to show for it. I've completed a figure, and that makes me feel good. I can post pictures of them. I can get excited. I can do a countdown for, hey, I got one guy less to do, that kind of a thing. Kind of short goals. When I'm painting multiple figures, and I have done that before, it's very tedious. Where I think when I was doing my Polybian Romans, I painted like all of the blade units together, and it was like, okay, paint this light, paint this one shade, paint this one shade, paint this one shade. You get all the way through, 12, 16, 20 figures, and then you go back and do the next color all the way through. It's, I may spend in a 4 hour session with something like that, or a couple hour session, and get nothing completely done. So I much prefer this method for me. I also don't like to be, I hate multitasking. I absolutely hate multitasking because I hate mistakes. So I like to start one thing and finish it. And if I'm not going to finish this, then not go on to something else. But that's what works for me. I know I'm probably the exception. Most people like to assembly line doing things, and it's more efficient, but it's easier for me to get discouraged. The example I use is back when I watched TV, which was many years ago. I don't really watch television anymore. I certainly don't watch anything live TV. I'll watch everything pre-recorded. Anyways, there was a show, and this is probably 10 years ago, maybe even longer than 10 years ago. Most of you guys are familiar with, called Mythbusters. Common myths, and do experiments with science and cars and stuff like that to prove whether or not it was really a myth, or it was something that could have actually happened. It was a fun show. They started the first season, maybe the second season, doing one experiment or one myth. Then they move on to the second one, then they move on to the third one. About season 3, they figured, all you Americans don't have any attention span. So what we're going to do is we're going to present the first myth, and then we'll get like a quarter of the way in it, and then we'll present the second one, and then we'll go to a commercial break, and then we'll do the third one, and then we'll come back and start back on the first one and say, wait a second. So this is like work where I get to do little bits of pieces and nothing gets to be finished. Like, that's just not very satisfying. So I stopped watching the show. The format didn't work for me. Now, other people may have actually liked it better, but I would prefer to finish something before you start something else. So that's just the way I operate and what works for me. I do the same thing with the figure painting. So that doesn't mean I have an assembly line done things, but it's certainly the exception. The other thing is because mixing color, repaint something that I painted maybe 10 years ago, and I still somehow remembered what colors I mixed to make them look the same, and was able to match it no problem. I don't need to do them one after another, so that in case I forget what colors I mix together to get the certain shade. So that isn't an issue for me. But I feel the most important thing in painting for me is to make sure I don't get discouraged and go off and start looking at email or figures to buy, or get distracted doing something else, just to stay on task. So the best way for me to do that is to do one figure at a time and have something to show for it. Oh, and look, during this ramble, bam, look at that. The little tunic is done. Now there's only a tiny little bit showing there. Tunic, shirt. Somebody said it was called a, I don't know if I'm saying the name correctly, Leine. If it was a German word, it'd be Lina. But I don't know if that's how you pronounce it in Gaelic. But yeah, it's kind of a big saffron shirt that they all kind of wore. So we're done with the shirt part. Let's go ahead and let's do the skin. Okay, we should still have some of this skin blend here. The colors I use to blend the skin. I'm going to flip it over to the other side. There's a little bit more space to work with. I guess a frog went to sleep. Good for him. I like having them around, but it doesn't really work well with taping, you know? Have them constantly in the background. Like a doorbell and nobody answers. And they never leave. Bump this ceiling fan to say number 4. Gotta have air circulation. All right, so we're gonna mix a little base color here for the skin, and that's this red leather with black. Okay, and we're gonna paint every single spot on him in this color. This is gonna be our shadow color for the skin. Yeah, see, I could make body parts in that, but the other thing that happens is I'm more likely to miss something. When I'm doing more in one thing at once, it's easy for me to just like forget one leg on one figure and have to go back anyways. So I don't know. I know I'm the exception on that. People like to knock out most of the stuff. But you know, I've said before, where you waste most of your time isn't because I'm painting one figure at a time. It's because I'm cogitating about what color I'm going to paint next and what it's going to look next to this yellow. And I don't know, is that going to be, I got the other guy that looks like it's a similar color. I don't, how are they going to look together? All those kind of things that are going on in your head, and you're thinking about it and get sidetracked and you decide to do something else instead of painting the figure is what takes the time. That's what consumes at least for me. At least for me. You can put a little bit more of this to mix up. We just like went through it. Got a hand over here. And this guy's got a long mustache. Ugh. I'm the only person that can drink coffee and yawn, seems like. It takes me no time to yawn. I'm pretty much immune to. Oh, this guy's got his mouth open. Don't know how much more I'm going to make tonight. You guys want to come in and try and ask any questions? I'd be more than happy to answer them. Help keep me awake too. Okay, so we've got basically everything on that base color of the skin. So let's go ahead and add more of this red leather. To this. Sure we don't have anything near here. Okay. Oh, we got something new here. What do we got? Should be on here. Oh no, we have quite a few things on here. Okay, I'm a shrew. 9:30. I didn't see you, so I think I've watched all your DBA battles while I laid in bed. Oh man, sorry about that. At least you had something to look at, but like I said, Monday I wasn't feeling too great. Between Sunday and Monday, I went to bed. I went to bed early Saturday night, and I went to bed early Sunday night. I mean early. I mean like I was in bed like at 8:30 at night. I was had a headache, and I was the next morning. I was tired of the weekend. That's yeah, that sucks. So, Greg Kelleher, Australian Greg. Hi Tony, I can't watch now, but wanted to hello, and I'll catch completed video later. Cheers, mate. Yeah, like I mentioned, whenever this thing wraps up, and well, hopefully in the next couple hours, I'll let it kind of do its thing. It automatically uploads directly to YouTube, but for some reason it'll take. It's what 10 o'clock at night right now. So if we get done like at midnight, it'll probably be until like noon tomorrow or 1 o'clock tomorrow until you guys can see it in in the full HD that you guys are able to watch it now. I don't know why it takes that long. Yeah, maybe if I do more and more of these, it'll give me some more priority. But anyhow, um, yeah, Kevin says green is the Catholic color. Yeah, I'm a shrew. I still paint in enamel, so I have to assembly line to allow for drying time. Wow. Yeah, I don't even let these guys dry at all to have to wait on drying time. I don't do it. Wait a little bit, but I'd have to go on and do something else different. Or, but yeah, yeah. So going back to Kevin's question, green is the Catholic color. So I came across a quote on these guys in a book, and I tried to look for it earlier today to find out exactly where I found it. But as far as I can tell, the Scots-Irish period, they were kind of colorful, the garments that they wore. I mean, still didn't have a ton of variety, but they were still kind of colorful in the garments that they wore. When you start getting into this medieval period, they started wearing saffron. Basically, they all wore a saffron colored shirt, a long shirt called a liner. Like I said, I don't know if that's said correctly, liner or a leanie. It's spelled Leine, and it's just that's what everybody wore in saffron. Now the quote I can't find is apparently what happened is as they started in Ireland, because really from I've been trying to read the Irish history podcast as well. That's pretty interesting. Just trying to get some basic information on these guys. It's part of my of doing these armies is you kind of learn about history inadvertently, but the Irish really didn't need the English to interfere on the island to be trouble free because man, these people fought each other something fierce. It was like the Hatfields and McCoys over an entire island. Like they didn't need. I mean, they didn't need anybody to to come in and ruffle their feathers. They had plenty going on. But regardless, when the Anglo-Normans started to interfere, the Anglo-Normans and the English, the Plantagenets, started interfering in England. The Irish color that they used was the saffron color, and I understand it was because of their. It had something to do. I mean, even though they were already Catholic, of course, there was only one. There wasn't any Protestants, anything yet during this period, but it had to do with reference to like their roots of worshiping like a sun god, and it wasn't because they were worshiping the sun god at the time, but it was just that that's kind of like their national color was yellow, not green as you would normally think. And like I said, I've got to find where this quote is. It's really fascinating, but I was reading about them and that I've come across what it is. But so they've got this yellow color. That's kind of the yellow tunic. And the English, when they started getting involved with them, they started banning the Irish from wearing this color to kind of of wearing yellow. And I believe they also said that some of the origin of the phrase of calling somebody were the, sorry, I'm rambling and going back and forth. I'm just trying to paint it while I'm doing it. And being unsuccessful, apparently. But the tie-in where yellow being a color of cowardice kind of gets created. Yellow bastard, you yellow bellied, this, that, or the other. And I believe that has the roots in the fact of this saffron color of the garments that they wore in Ireland and how it worked its way into the English language. And there were some other things too, like the Irish tended to, along with the Welsh and so forth, tended to have mustaches because of that was just kind of their culture, mustaches and beards. So the English, of course, later early Middle Ages, the English went completely shaved to distinguish themselves from the Irish. There's some interesting interconnectivity there of finding out about the history that you weren't even aware of, and it was just right there in front of you. But that whole tie coloring with the yellow was kind of a surprise to me, because you go thinking like, oh, I'll probably work a little bit of green, and I probably still will. There's going to be little bits of green like in trim, just so you can. I mean, I don't want the entire army to be fully yellow, and then it'd be like, okay, where's the Irish? Oh, here they're right here. No, that's yellow guys. We're the guys that are green. That's everybody's reaction. So, because it's really interesting that I had read that recently, and I don't know if it was online or it was somewhere else, but it's something really. It was so unusual. It's fascinating. But yeah, these guys didn't need the English coming in on Ireland and messing with them. They had enough problems on their own, fighting over cattle and different clans and just some massive amounts of disunity. I guess maybe every country has that problem, um, but maybe because it was an island, it was probably more so because it was more difficult for them to unite against an outside foe because there wasn't an outside foe that often. Them being an island, it was just a lot harder to go and invade someone when you had to build a bunch of boats to go over there. So yeah, reading up about history, finding out new things as we go. So cool stuff. But I had no idea about that whole yellow tie-in color and the whole, yellow being a color of cowardice. Which, as far as I know, the Irish weren't really cowards from the standpoint of they didn't want to fight. They just did a lot of hit and run tactics because they were very lightly armed. They weren't really interested in doing pitched battles. I mean, yes, there were pitched battles in Ireland, but for the most part, they did like cattle raiding and didn't want to sit there and duke it out in a set piece battle like Agincourt or something like that. So yeah, I guess if you want to piss somebody off, you call them a coward, even if they're not a coward. I don't know, but interesting stuff. It's also nice trying to find out about history when you don't have any preconceptions of how things are. I don't have any lineage of any of my lineage is none of my lineage is Irish or Scottish or English. So it's kind of nice looking from the outside and seeing, kind of learning about those cultures, digging in deeper and finding out about it. It's pretty cool. But I've got to work on my little catchphrases to throw at Mitch when these guys go and come up with some kind of an ambush or whatever. We're going to be ready with some go-to phrases. So gonna need to get the pronunciation guide as well because I can't look at things in those Celtic tongues how it's spelled. You can't say it how it's spelled. It's definitely has a different word root, but because we want to get them right. Well, one of my favorite videos to do are unboxings. I do like doing unboxings. Unfortunately, I have so much stuff that I don't need to buy much. So I do probably plan on doing an unboxing every time I get something in because it's not that often. So like for instance, this army, I can probably do this whole army and another one with the things that came in. So we'll take the opportunity to do an unboxing for that. But I do like to do them. And I do like watching other people's unboxings as well. Especially if it's like a product you're for getting and all that stuff. So, see if we got anything new here. Yeah, speaking of painting with enamels, I haven't painted with enamels since 1981, maybe, when I was a kid. Remember those old Testors bottles and Pactra paints? Those were a piece of shit. Those were horrible. The worst paints ever. They came in these the plastic like the Testors bottles, but they were plastic, and on the inside they had like almost like a pattern, so they were like ribbed, so the paint would like get stuck in there and wouldn't mix up well. God, those were just god awful. I do some enamels when I'm doing like some. I have done some kind of washings, not very many, and I do enamels sometimes. I brush paint the original the black color, but that's pretty much it. The only thing I use enamels for, and I do my final coat on my varnishing is a brush on lacquer or enamel type of finish. So I do have cleaning products that I use for that, but that's about it. The rest of it is just all acrylics. I just I enjoy licking the brush so much. I don't want to use enamels. uh, we're going to go back to using this color here. Okay, and put a little bit of the sunny skin tone over here and get the first mix of the two there. I'm a Shoe says it's not real painting unless you're using harsh chemicals. Okay. Hey, whatever you want to use, that's fine with me. I'm sure you probably have a lot of enamels left over. If you to switch over would be costly. Just like if I wanted to switch to enamels, just forget it. It's just not going to happen. I'd have to buy everything over, and I've got 400, 500 colors. Not that I need that many, but I've just collected them over the years. So I prefer, free thinner. They don't smell that much anymore. They used to smell a lot stronger. Um, Seems like it. When I was a kid, and they're a lot higher quality now than they used to be. They used to be horrible. Yeah, you'd get one of those paint kits when you were a kid with those nylon brushes, and the ends of the brush were all like they didn't come to a point or anything. Oh, I can't imagine. I think they still sell those crappy type nylon brushes. So I don't know who the hell's buying them. They just buy them from other people and nobody uses them. Paints and brushes and that stuff's very personal. You need to buy your own and get ones that you're comfortable with. Not not real painty unless you use harsh chemicals. I don't think they smell that strong. A little bit more sunny skin tone, put it out here. People definitely have their paint preferences. And I bet a lot of it has to do with what's available in your area because even though people mail order figures, who the hell wants to mail order paint? I mean, unless it's a color you know that you like, you're not just gonna, look at a bottle and go, yeah, that's the right one, because when you get it, it's totally different than what it looks like online. I keep thinking one of these days, I'm gonna break down and actually paint some figures using the three color method, like the foundry system or something like that. Even if I don't go and buy the foundry paints, because I've got, so many Vallejos and stuff like that, I can make my own little system. Just use, this one for the first one, this for the second, this one for the third. I just don't think that three colors is enough variation in each one. I want more different differentiations between the the shade, the middle, and the light. I just think I like more than three. But maybe one day I'll break down and just see how I can do with that parameter. Because I certainly have seen other people use that type of method, and I'd be pretty happy with how it turned out. But at first glance, it looks like it's too, especially faces, because faces need, in my opinion, more layers than other things, just for the subtle variation of the stuff. I think I'm actually going to be able to get away with painting this guy and not having to paint his freaking eyes, because it doesn't look like this guy is very bug-eyed looking, which is unlike everyone else that I have painted in this entire army. Seems like the sculptor wanted to give them all buggy eyes, so we're going to be able to get away with not having to do that with this guy. All right, so a little bit of white, this. Do some highlighting there. Wish these comments would stay up, but they don't. They disappear after a little bit. So I don't want to leave you guys hanging. That's not my intention. Yeah, it takes me a while to paint this. That's why I play DVA. I don't have that many figures to paint. It's got nothing to do with buying more figures. I just have a limited amount of paint time. I'd rather have paint 30, 40, 50 figures and then move on to something else totally different. Definitely a draw for me. Maybe a little bit more on the face. I think then we're done with the flesh on this dude. Yeah, so thanks for hanging out with me, folks. I know that a lot of people go online and all get notifications that they're painting in the middle of the day. I'm like, I'm at work, so I pretty much can only paint very, very little on a work day before I go to work. By the time I wake up, check my email, do a couple of turns on an online game I'm playing, it's time to go to work. And then when I get home from work, I'm pretty tired. So weekends are really the time for me to, to get together and paint if we're not traveling anywhere. So, which has been more and more common lately. We have done some traveling, but not very much. That's pretty much the only time that I can paint. I don't usually paint in the evenings, even though 4 evenings. This is the fourth one in a row. I'm hooked. I want to get these guys finished. I'm excited. I want to see what the basing on these guys is like. We're going to do our standard European style basing that we've done in some of our other figures, but we're going to kick it up a notch. We're going to get some. We're going to try to get some foliage that's a little bit brighter. This is a forest army, a forest terrained army, so they're going to tend to have more woods and stuff like that. We're going to add some shrubbery and some different colors that I don't already have. So it's going to be similar, but a little different than other armies that I've done. So I'm excited to see what it looks like. I'm also digging having some rocks on the stand. Not a whole bunch, but just one or two. So make them look more believable on the stands. So I think this guy's done flesh-wise. And what we're going to do then is we're going to go ahead and do his cape. Now this last guy we ended up using that olive drab color. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do I want to say I read that they used like a red cloak as well, but I don't want it too bright on this guy. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to pick this color that's here. It is barely red. It's called burnt cadmium red. Okay, and this is what we're going to use as the core color for the cape on this guy, or the top layer on this guy. So we're going to put some of this out here and mix it up good. This color is definitely one that covers pretty well. Not all colors are created equally, and I don't know if its proportion has to do with how long they've been sitting on the shelf also. That may have something to do with it as well. If a color sits on the shelf, like some of these this one in particular, this one is either too watery or chalky all the time. So I had to put one of those mixing beads on there, and it behaves a little bit better. But it's still kind of difficult to deal with at times. But yes, the oranges, the yellows, they tend to misbehave a lot. You need to take a little bit more TLC when you're trying to apply them. All right. Oh, here's that olive drab I was talking about. Here it is. It's almost like a Vietnam type color, for like vehicles in Vietnam would be. So, U.S. vehicles in Vietnam, I should say. Before we get started, nothing else. Okay, we're going to go plug along. I'm going to put some of the core color here. Black, we're going to need a refresher on the black. Okay, we're going to paint this entire cloak. Oh, except cape. These guys aren't superheroes. A cloak. And this dark reddish color. I like painting stuff like cloaks. It's something that has the folds, and they're fun to paint. enjoy them. Maybe it's part of that. I'm taking something that's not a cloth, you know, because it's a metal miniature, and painting it like it's cloth-like. Same thing, I like painting things that are wooden, like gun carriages or something like that, cannons and stuff like that, and make them look like they're made of wood and stuff like that. I enjoy that. We're gonna have to take a tiny little break. I'm gonna leave the tape running. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and get me a soda, refresh this a little bit because I have been doing a fair amount of talking. It's been an hour and 15 minutes, and I'm fresh out. So I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna take the long way around, and I should be back in 2 minutes probably. Be right back, folks. Okay, as promised, we are back. We're back with our refreshment of the night, Coke Zero. Not a beer. This isn't Mitch's paint out. I had alcoholic beverages while I was painting here. I'd just fall asleep. I don't drink hardly at all anyways, so. Caffeine is my drug of choice, for sure. Not that this has that much caffeine, but anyhow, see if we missed anything. Nope. Still putting everybody to sleep. Okay, well, hopefully you guys are following along. You'll find something. Or having the camera on is helping me out tremendously, so I can knock this guy out. I'd like to knock him out and another one. I'll wake up in the morning, do 2 shields, and I'll be in great shape. Because then after that, I can varnish them. Let's see. Let's do a little bit of a plan. If I get these guys done, I'll have 2 shields to do in the morning, and then I can do the varnishing. And after that's dried, put the goop, which is what I call putting the compound there for the basing. And with any luck, I'll be able to paint that basing at the end of the day tomorrow. God, if I really push it, I could probably get these stands done tomorrow. Now, there are two stands that involve Bowman. Well, they're Bowman. They're still Saloy, but they're both. If you look at the description of the book, and I've elected to use Bowman as them. They're still 2-figure stands. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock these Javelin guys out first because I'm, and then I'll do the Bowman guys next. But they're still going to be, skirmishers. They don't behave any differently. Just the description in the book says that they're Kern bowmen instead of Kern javelin men. So I figured, well, it's going to give me the description, and I don't really have a preference. I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. I'll build them as the list says that they are, and that's at least my methodology or reasoning behind it. Long enough a ramble for you guys. Anyhow, I'm looking forward to getting these guys done. Let's put it that way, and just see what they look like. And maybe, just maybe, I'll do a new backdrop for these Irish guys. So I've been enjoying doing that as well. Now, I don't know if I could do the kind of adding really thin layers. And the thing about the enamels is they activate the layer underneath. So I'm really not putting them on very thick. So I bet I would end up thinning the layer when I added the next one. I don't know. I'm not going to figure out how to do that for sure. But enamels won't take that long to dry. I don't think. Um, Well, we don't want this guy to be super red, even though it's a reddish type cloak. It's definitely been thrown in the dirt. And this is the backstory and musings behind the clothes that this fictitious character that's 15 millimeters tall is wearing. But he's thrown this thing on the ground a few times, and it's been fading in the sun. So we're gonna lighten this thing up with white, and it's gonna keep it from being particularly red, which honestly would look out of place on the rest of this figure since they're kind of muted type colors anyhow. And if somebody's got an old cloak, it's going to be these Kern type commoner folks, not not the gentry. So let's add a little bit more white. Okay, a little bit of on there, and just highlight just tiny little spots of the stand out a little bit more. Bit there, a little bit there. Okay. I lied just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Okay, I think that's where we're going to leave his cloak. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and paint his javelin. I wonder if there's not many people that paint when you're drinking alcoholic beverages at the same time. I just find I wouldn't get anything done. I just wouldn't care. I wouldn't get anything done. I wouldn't care. Definitely not stressful. Definitely not stressful. So let's go paint this javelin guy now. We probably still have some more lighter colors over here. Right. Let's go ahead and go with this here. Yeah, we picked up this room really, really good. So we're gonna definitely do a video on that. Probably tomorrow when there's sunlight in here. And unless it's another rainy day, yet another rainy day. And show you guys around where I got my area. Not necessarily my man cave, because the girls are welcome here for sure. I'm a social painter, so I prefer to be doing this with someone in the room than just hiding and being quiet while I do this. I'd much rather be talking to somebody while I'm painting than listening to music or even a something on Audible or a book on tape or something like that. I prefer the books on tape when I'm driving more than painting. But that's just me. So I've been talking about getting an Irish Army done for St. Patrick's Day, just because, just an excuse for, I want to say 6 or 7 years now. I think I'm probably going to be able to do that this coming St. Patrick's Day for sure, regardless of whether or not you can do something for St. Patrick's Day, because the situation hasn't changed with the nonsense. But that just remains to be seen. But I think this time I started early enough. There's no fear that these guys are not going to be able to get done by mid-March. That'd be pretty extreme. So, I should get only about 2 armies done a year. I'm going to try and see if I can squeeze a third one in this one. Building these armies that have a high proportion of skirmishers helps, because you paint 2-foot figures and bam, you've got another stand. But this one in particular has a lot of options of different troop types that they can use to make the army usable in different conditions. So that's kind of slowed me down a little bit. I think what's going to speed it up is I've got lots of figures that I'm not spending an inordinate amount of time figuring out how I'm going to paint them. I'm just kind of jumping in with both feet and going at it. That was another reason I decided to kind of keep the theme of using this this golden. Is it called golden yellow? Let's see. No, that's desert yellow. That's not the one. Is it this one down here? No, it's not. What is this core color? I think it's called golden yellow. Here it is. It's called gold brown. This gold brown is the core color I've been using for all the Saloy. So I'm going to keep that going. Yeah. Then after them, we got these guys to paint. We're going to do all the Saloy first. The Galagleish. You guys know how to pronounce that? You want to give me a phonetic spelling? How to pronounce these guys? Galagleish. Galagleish. I'll have to look them up. I'm sure there's a pronunciation guide on those guys. But the blades, the three next after these. And they're going to have the yellow tunics as well. So, and no shields. They don't have any shields. They've just got big bearded axes. So, ought to be fun. As I've mentioned before, what takes a long time is not the painting. It's not decided. It's not. What takes a long time is deciding what color to paint next and what color would look good, and then going and checking your references and looking at a picture and seeing a guy in blue, but you wanted to paint it in purple, and you know those kind of decisions. That's what consumes a ton of time. If you're just kind of plugging along, no matter how slow you're painting, you're still moving forward. So, okay, now we pulled out some of this metallic color. I think it was long enough ago that it's going to be dead, so we're going to go pull this out. Put the little tip of his javelin. And this is just a Citadel base lead belcher. Okay, and we added a little 5mm stainless steel mixing ball in there. That's what you're hearing in there. Poor man's maracas. And the sound of one maraca mixing. But that's what you're hearing there. It's just, and those have come in handy. I thought I'd pissed away $6 for the 100 of those little stainless steel beads, but I've used them quite a bit. And I didn't go through and replace them all. If I come up with a color and I see that it's being obstinate, I'll drop one of those in there and get a good blend. And next time the same thing happens again, it isn't an issue, you know? But we're going to go ahead and do, crap. We're going to go ahead and do the shield boss on this one, the guy as well, while we have that out. Yeah. A forest army, that means no roads. Won't be able to place any roads. So Mitch and I are always talking about you always put a road down. Well, not if you can't put a road down, you don't put a road down. Because that'd be called cheating. All right. Let's see if we can strawberry blonde this guy up too. Snap, crackle, pop into this chair. All right. Got a little bit left to pour in. Let's get it over with. Get these guys done. There's lots of different things I'm looking forward to doing with this army. I don't mean playing, I mean just like creative wise. So at Historicon, I picked up a little village. I already have a Saxon village from Timecast that I use as when we're playing with a Hamlet. I already used that. It turned out really nice. That was my first attempt at it, but I've got some other buildings here to use for this type of thing. And we're going to get into that also. Yeah. can do that sort of thing. Looking forward to doing some more woods. I only have two things of woods, and I made two for Mitch, so having a couple more in different shapes definitely appeals to me. What else? Irish type castle. Looking forward to doing that out of the foam board. It's all one piece. It won't have a removal. Doing a camp. I don't know if you guys follow what I'm doing, but frequently I'll build an army and not do a camp for them because I find them kind of boring. But I've got these sheep that have been following me around for a while that I bought every bit of over a decade ago. And I think these guys deserve a sheep camp. So that's another thing that I reading. Apparently, sheep during this time period in Ireland were mostly black sheep. So that's kind of interesting. Got to put one white one in there, but yeah, looking forward to that. So that's some cool creative things that I'm looking forward to doing with these guys. So I've definitely been enjoying the painting more in the last month than I have in a long, long time. Oh, maybe all the live videos and stuff like that. I just figure it's my way to share my passion with you guys, and you guys can enjoy it too. So this guy looks like he's got a tiny little sheath, like a knife or something down here. So let's add another little color. Let's use the old spill color. I mean that as I had a spill the other day with one of my Cote d'Armes color. I spilled about half the bottle. It's left a spot here. It's on my other little packing thing. And this is, I love these things. This is just like you go to get at work and kind of a package. It's the cardboard that comes at the end. So I don't let anybody throw those away. I take those home with me, and we got other uses for them, as you can see. It's called my cutting mat protector, so it doesn't turn into the nasty cutting mat everybody else seems to have with all kinds of different colors, paints and everything. I wouldn't be able to deal with that. It's too much distraction for me. But yeah, cutting mat protector. That protected it the other day. Because I mean, half that bottle ended up right here on there. I pulled a fumble. I can only see 2 inches in front of my face without my contacts, and it was probably 4 inches away. I didn't catch it, so I think that's the second spill I've ever had of paint that I ever remember. One of them was a massive spill with a yellow, and I think it involved one of those shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. Try to squeeze some yellow out. It doesn't come out. Really squeeze it out, and then it releases. It was just like, it was like half this area was just all covered in yellow. So, which of course is a color that you hardly use any little bit of. So, all right, so let's paint this guy's sheath in this greenish type color. And highlight it, and a little bit of white for the final highlight. Okay, so that's done there. Tiny little bit, add a little bit of color of something that we didn't have on there. Let's see, we got hair to do on this dude. Let's, we got a brown in here? Yeah, we do. All right. What about a blonde type colors, man? I don't know. I need to see if there's a setting where these words pop up, because it seems like I'm missing them. I don't see where they come up. So I'm a shrew. Get them good and dry, usually at night. Wow, I couldn't handle painting something and not being able to come back to it until overnight. I'm glad you were able to be patient enough to handle that happening. And what else we got? You're just finishing up some D&D monsters for my niece. It was fun painting fantasy figures again. I've never painted fantasy figures. I've painted some 28s, The only 20s I ever painted was way back in the day. I never played the game, but Warhammer 40K around 1990, I painted a squad. I think it was about 10 figures of Imperial. I saw a picture of them in probably a White Wolf magazine, and they're basically all gray. They're very World War II German looking, except they had a little roundel on their chest, and kind of like their unit number. And I thought I did a pretty good job at the time. I'd probably look at them now. I'd probably just throw them away, throw them at somebody. But I don't know what happened to them. I must have sold them a long time ago. That's the only 28 millimeter figures I've ever painted. I never played the game. I'm up for playing different games. I'm one of those people that learns the rules by playing them first or several times and then have a frame of reference to be able to read the rest of the rules around. And I never had someone to play 40K back in that time period. I don't think I missed anything. I'm not really a fantasy person. The most fantasy miniatures I've ever played is BattleTech. And I played quite a bit of it back in that 91 to 95 time period. Had probably 30 or 40 mechs, and I was dry brushing them. And I thought they turned out pretty good. Dry brushing them, then painting details like cockpits and insignia and that kind of stuff. Liked it. Played quite a few games of BattleTech, but that's the only fantasy type science fiction that I've really painted. Oh, actually, it was all World War II until we got into this silly DBA game around 2004, and never looked back. But yeah, that's never really did any fantasy. Of course, we all did the little role playing games back when I was 13 or 14 years old, but not as an adult. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I don't have that kind of our group doesn't really do that sort of thing. We don't have time for everything, so I'm going to pick and choose what I'm going to spend my time on. And I think for bang for the buck, I think that doing this silly little game that's guaranteed to take less than an hour is really where I'm the happiest with. Okay, so we've got this yellow ochre. It looks similar, almost like a lighter shade than this gold brown that we've been using for everything. But this is what we're going to use as one of our blonde base colors for his hair and his mustache. All right, and we're going to take this brown that's here. See if we can find us a spot. As you can see, this is starting to turn into a cluster of different shades and things here. We're going to lighten this thing up. See, this yellow is particularly watery. We're going to go ahead. This one didn't have a little stainless steel ball in it, but we're going to go ahead and put one in it right now. So let's go ahead and show you Army Painter mixing balls. Okay, 100 of them. So we're just going to grab one of them. Make sure it's closed. I don't want to chase these little guys all over the room. That would be annoying. And it still falls on the ground. Luckily it's closed. Okay. And we're going to take the top of this thing off. And of course it's messy. Okay, so let's see if we can find another paper towel. Okay, and in wiping this thing off, we're going to go ahead and pull the top of this off as well. Come on. Being careful so we don't make a mess. All right, then we're going to take the mixing bowl, we're just going to drop it here in the top. And then we're going to put this guy right back on. Well, we're actually going to take the opportunity, you can see here in the bottom, it's like all gooped in there. So let's grab this. Let's put that right there. All right. And then we'll have the mixing bowl for the next time we use this, because we won't need it right now because we just put plenty of paint down there. Let's give it a couple. You can barely hear it working its magic in there. But that should straighten out the next time I use it. Okay. Yeah, I made a big old mess there. Okay. All right. All right. Let's grab this color we were using. Now that we got some of this color with lots of it, we can mix it up with some of the more watery one, and now we got some real color in there. Okay, so this is what we're doing with the brown. So we're going to go ahead and cover all of his hair, including his mustache, and this color right here. He's got long flowing hair and a big mustache. And the mustache on this side. All right. Now we're going to take this same color and we're going to add some of this yellow to it. Then we're going to take that same color that's there and add a little bit of white to it. And then we'll do the same thing, add a little bit more white to it. And just highlight little bits of the hair here so it pops out a little bit more. I use the white because I want it to look significantly different, even though it's going to be blonde. I want it to look different than the yellow that's on his tunic. And it was looking like they were too close together because it doesn't look right, because it looks like, first of all, you got lazy and you painted them both at the same time. And that's something that we want to give. So maybe just a tiny little bit more white. Be careful, we don't want to very saturate this in white and end up looking like he's super old. But let's just highlight a little bit on his. Oh, I like this guy. I like this guy. I'll show you guys a up close one here. Okay, that's what we're done with his hair now. Let's move this off to the side. Let's get our little spot here. Yeah, I like how this guy's turning out. Put a standard brownish base shield. Like I said, till tomorrow morning we'll do the shield designs in the morning. I can't go back and forth between the internet and while I'm filming, as I always do. All right. See if we got anything new here. Nope. I must be putting you guys to sleep. See, half dozen of you guys are following along, so good evening to you guys. It's just shy of 11 o'clock here, which is kind of late for me doing my painting. I'm a early morning painter. But thanks for joining me. Is there shout outs you want to do? Anything to keep me engaged. I've got to finish this guy up here momentarily, and then we're going to do one more guy. So my goal is to get these guys done to that stage in the morning, so that then we can do some 2 shields and then start varnishing them. So I want to see these guys on the stands. So all we're going to just do is a basic brown color on this shield. This morning I was painting one of the patterns that the Saloy had. It was a pattern based on a round shield, but the shield that was actually the casting was not round, it was oblong. So that was fun. You know, even though it's not perfect, the people of this time period, the shields that they probably painted and the designs they painted on them with the brushes. Can you imagine what kind of brushes they had in the Middle Ages? Like really shitty ones, you know. So I can't imagine that I can't imagine that they would actually look any worse, any better than some of the shield patterns that you're painting on them. So that kind of made me feel at ease a little bit. Is figuring, well, no matter how I do it, it's not going to be as bad as it probably looked in real life. So that got me through not worrying about it too much. So okay, so this guy's pretty much done. Okay, we got this guy done. So we'll call him a dunner, except for the shield, and we got one guy left to do on these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 soloi. Of course, there's 4 more figures that are Bowman, but we're gonna do them. We're gonna do them afterwards. We're gonna knock out all these javelin guys first. So, all right. So this is the guy that my buddy Rick Cundiff wanted me to give him a striped cloak on. So let's see what we can do about that. Okay. So I specifically picked a guy that had a mustache because Rick Cundiff has a mustache, and Rick has dark hair. So we're gonna give this guy dark hair too. You see the pattern? Where he doesn't have a choice is this guy is going to wear a yellow tunic. And I don't think I've ever seen Rick Cundiff wear yellow, but tough. Anyhow, I didn't think Rick was Irish. I thought he was Welsh. But we will do. We will do a striped cloak for him. Okay. Of course, we're going to use this color. No brainer there. But I think we need to put a little bit more of it out there because it's kind of dying on me. Of course, it's been out there about a week. So, not too surprised. Coming up on 2 hours here. So, if you guys are just joining us, if we're painting us. No, if you're just joining me, myself, and I, all 3 of us. If you're just joining me, this is the medieval Irish painting of skirmishers that I'm doing. So, yeah, this is the color that we decided to use as a core color for the entire, all of these guys wearing the shirt, the saffron colored shirt. So, in the saffron color, and let me think about this, okay? So if his cloak is going to be yellow and green, then the yellow of his tunic is not going to be close to this. It's going to be darker. If it's going to be darker, I might as well mix it in with black. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. All right. Not some major planning, but just a little bit of brainstorming so I don't get to the end and realize, yeah, I'm not going to be able to make that work. So. We're going to take some core color. See if we can find us a spot over here where there's not much going on. And let's put it down here. It's a black. Watch this turn to green real quick, folks. Ew. Like an unattractive color. That's definitely some green hues in there. Okay, so we're going to paint the entire shirt in this color right here. You guys have any questions, feel free to type them in there in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them for you if I can. If not, I'll make a really convincing make-believe answer for you. I'm a terrible bullshit artist, folks. So I will try to answer it if I can. Oh, this guy actually has a strap for, what's that strap go to? Maybe the shield? Got a strap right across his chest here that I hadn't seen until I started painting over it. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll know what to do with that when the time comes. Okay, so this guy's completely covered. Let's see, let's do some maintenance here. We got some notification here. Okay, cool. Okay. We're done with that. So now we're going to take that same color and we're going to lighten it up some. But we're probably the last color we're going to add this to it. Then we're going to start adding white to it. Make it deviate from the yellow color pattern because I don't want to do a cloak that's going to interfere or be similar in color to this. So this is what we're going to go with. So let's just add the next color here on the tunic. Appreciate you guys hanging in there. Maybe you're being creative yourselves and using this for a backdrop of, I can only hope. Okay. So we have reached the point where we have painted everything with this color. Do we need a brush? Because we need to go to a smaller one. Yeah, I'm fading fast, unfortunately. I'm running out of steam. We're gonna add some white on here. And we're just highlighting this little bit here. Now, I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do the cloak. It's going to be a stripe in the wind, so we'll figure that out. Don't worry. Assuming I make it there. Okay, let's add a little bit more white to this. Okay. And this last little bit here as well. Okay. Now we got his tunic going. Now, even though we did the same yellow, it's not particularly yellow. Seems like it works the best when I put it up here. Okay, pretty faded. All right. All right. So started late. All right. I think unfortunately I'm probably gonna have to call it. Because I am losing gas fast. So we're gonna stop a little short of where I wanted to. I'm gonna wake up in the morning, bring this guy up to speed, do the shields on the two guys. Yeah, and then we could talk about doing some basing on these. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These 4 bases of Saloy. Because there's a total of 6 bases of Saloy, like I mentioned earlier. There's those 4, and then here's yeah, with the Bowman. So anyhow, that's probably what we're gonna do. We're gonna call it a night. It's 11:07 here, and I am fading fast. So yeah, this guy almost I had to stop short. So, but that's all right. We should be all right in the morning. I'm probably gonna wake up my normal early wake up time and hit the ground running. Okay, so thanks for hanging in there with me, folks, and we'll catch you guys next time, and happy painting. All right, guys. Bye-bye.